to the RCC Music Technology Info Session. I am Professor Amaya, and this is an info session for you. If you are considering a move into RCC music technology or into music technology, or if have already made that decision and you're coming to RCC, entering this particular session will be for those of you entering in the fall of 2021, back in person. And that was a piece of music by one of our former students, might still be a student, and that was at the end of his second semester. So that's something that you could sort of look forward to doing in our classes. So a little bit about us, RCC Music Technology. Let's get this going here. A little bit about me. I realize I'm right here, but I'm also there. A lot of students like to know a little bit about their professors. There's some stats about pretty much my whole life minimized into a couple bullet points. Most of my students call me Amaya. I'm Professor Amaya. Most everybody calls me Amaya now. I have a bachelor's in music composition, traditional, from Cal State Fullerton. I did attend RCC, much like some of you are or will. In between my bachelor's and my master's, I went through, it was their MIDI certificate program at the time, which is now the RCC Music Technology Certificate. I have a Master of Music degree in commercial music from Cal State Los Angeles, which is pretty much a dead-end degree. There are no PhDs or DMAs in that, at least not yet. So then I went on and I did a lot of training at the Recording Arts Center, which is now Studio West in San Diego. I've been fully involved in the industry for a long time, especially on the music notation side of things. And so I became the master instructor, now one of a few in the world, for Sibelius. I'm the author of the Avid's Sibelius curriculum, as well as an author for Sibelius on LinkedIn Learning. Sibelius is a music notation program, in case you guys are not aware of that. I am a composer, arranger. I've done all these things, orchestration, copying. I play the accordion, or I did. It's been a while, but I did. A national champion, actually. Yeah, not too many people can say that, I guess. I was a product software specialist part-time for many, many years since high school. Then became a region manager full-time for a company called Music First, which did cloud-based music software. Did that for a few years. In between, I was a full-time professor at Cal Poly Pomona in their music industry studies program. Then I did some industry work, and then I came to RCC. Prior to all that, I was teaching this kind of stuff, music technology, at a whole bunch of schools. A few of them are listed there, like UCLA Extension, RCC. Of course, I was here for a long time. MSJC, and MiraCosta College, and some others. So that's a quick background on me, in case you're curious. So why RCC Music Technology? So this is why music technology really in general. It is a non-traditional, that's what I call it, a non-traditional approach to college level music education. The traditional route would be you've been playing in band, orchestra, choir your entire life, and you're going to continue studying your instrument or voice and taking those very traditional classes and taking, 2 years of theory, 2 years of piano, 2 years of instrument or vocal lessons, and being in ensembles. That would be a traditional music major. We now have this ability to offer a non-traditional approach, which is more technology. We're going to hit you with some music for sure. You have to know music. You'll see some of what we're going to do with you guys with the programming in just a bit. But a lot of technology, some history of pop music instead of the classical stuff, which is still relevant and good. But we want you to be relevant today. So we're going to hit you with a lot of new stuff. It's just a non-traditional approach. A lot of people don't realize that this exists. It does exist. There are certificates and degrees all the way through the bachelor's level, all the way up really through the master's level in this now. So we're going to prepare you for that, basically. We accept anybody into our program. It's very rare. It's very hard to be a traditional music major. If you're a traditional music major, you're up against the people that have been playing in band, orchestra, and choir their entire life. And it's very hard to walk into a college program and start from scratch. But not in my program, not in the music technology and industry programs. We take everyone from the ground up, and you will fit in fine, and you will grow and learn and build yourself up as a musician or technologist or whatever it is that you want to be in that area. So it's really cool that we can take pretty much anybody and get you on a pathway to success or degree or something. The courses are fun, I will say. We have a lot of fun in our area of the department, but I will tell you that a lot of students do get a little bit of shock out of thinking it's gonna be nothing but fun and very easy. It is not easy. It is not an easy A. You are gonna be working really hard. You're gonna be studying hard. You're gonna be working on projects a lot. It's a lot of work. Um, I am not easy on you. My first semester class, I call it boot camp. And if you make it through that, a lot of people don't, but if you make it through that, you're going to be amazing and you're going to continue on. And then the fun really starts toward the end of your first semester. But it's a lot of book work, it's a lot of history, it's a lot of background information on audio, digital audio, and a lot of fundamentals before you even get to touching the software for this class. Then we do a lot of software training, like from the ground up, interface, buttons, bells and whistles, all those things. What does all that do and all that before we even get you working in it? Because as soon as we ask you to do one task, you're going to need to know 10 things. So we get that out of the way. So your first semester with me, first probably half to two-thirds of that will be a lot of background information. A lot of students don't want it. They want that quick in, drop a couple beats and out kind of thing. If that's you, you got to change your mindset or it might not be for you. But if you really want to learn from the ground up and be really, really good and then start having fun, this is for you. We are at RCC, we are an Avid Learning Partner location, so we can actually certify you at the user level in Pro Tools and Sibelius. Those are both Avid products. Pro Tools, of course, is your digital audio workstation where we sequence, we write music, record music, mix music, and do all that. Sibelius is a music notation application. We have a class for that as well. And we can certify you in that. So when you leave our classes, you're not just leaving with a class under your belt, you're actually leaving with certification you can put on a resume. You can earn at RCC a certificate in this area of emphasis for skill building. And some students, that's all they do. And then they leave and they go off and do things, right? Other students will get an AA. We do have an AA option for you. And that could be you just want an AA and then you go off and do things, or you want an AA and you want to be able to transfer into a bachelor's degree program. Most of the students who are on the AA path for transfer, we have them do both. We have them do the certificate and the AA. And the reason is that the certificate, the extra classes in that are in addition to the AA, will prepare you for being competitive as a transfer and having not just the skill set you'll need, but the works, the portfolio of works that you'll need to be able to potentially show a transfer institution. We're an area within a larger, at RCC, music technology is an area within a larger, very, very well-respected music department. So the good news is you will be educated in music. You'll be surrounded by musicians, which is not always the case with these programs in technology, but it is with us. We're in a music building. We're part of the music program, which is a very important thing. If you're going to be dealing with music and sound, you need to be able to understand the lingo and work with the people and have a really good ear. And if you stick with us, we'll get you there. We'll get you to that good level in the music side, really great level on the technical side. We offer courses in music production, recording, live sound, film scoring, which is pretty incredible for a community college, and we do good with that. We do a mixing class, and we have a bunch of other stuff coming down the pipes. It's a good time to be a part of us because we've got a lot coming. We have songwriting courses written that are going to be offered in the next 2 years. And a designated AA for music technology is coming. It won't really affect anybody coming in fall 21. We have an AA that's just as good for you. It just doesn't say music technology. It's fine in applied arts, but it's the same coursework. So some other things are coming that you might be able to hop into, like songwriting or something if you're entering now. We have our own building off of campus. A lot of people don't know this. They find out the hard way on the first day of school that, we are not located on the main RCC Riverside campus. We are downtown Riverside at University and Market, just behind the Culinary Academy. That's a picture of our building. And we have to the right of the building, you can see the parking structure. If it's not full, it's a great place to park. If it is full, you have to park at the Fox Theater, which is down a ways. We do have overflow there. But that's our address, 3890 University Avenue. Just so that you're aware, we are downtown. So make sure if you take any classes at Coyle School for the Arts, which is designated CSA, that's our code. My room, our lab room is CSA 248, in case that helps. It's going to be at this building. It's going to be downtown. In terms of facilities in the building, so we have a music technology lab. It's about 32, I think, computer. It might be 31. I get that confused all the time. Student computers. They all are set up exactly the same. We've got a lot of software on them. I did not list all of it here, but our main software that we use in our technology program is Pro Tools. We have Sibelius. We teach a lot of that. But we also have Reason, Mach 5 Melodyne, Autotune. Our theory classes use Aurelia and Musician, and we have a ton of other things on the computer systems. But mainly we do teach Pro Tools. I have a lot of students that come with backgrounds with FL Studio, with other applications, Logic, everything. It's not coming to me at the moment, but Ableton, that's the one that was in my head and came to me. We have students that come with a variety of backgrounds, but everybody does learn Pro Tools. Part of that is we can offer certification. Part of it is I do want to teach you from the ground up really deeply one application. It is a good thing to learn one application really deeply. And we don't have enough time with you to do that plus more applications like it. But you'll have time in your life to be able to expand beyond that. But it's a really good skill to know one application as deeply as we're going to teach you Pro Tools. It's also the most versatile of all the DAWs in terms of where you can go with knowing that particular software DAW. I say DAW, Digital Audio Workstation. We tend to call our sequencing software that. But you can go into post-production for video. That's sound for video. You can go into music. You can go into recording studios. There's just a lot more you can do with that, whereas a lot of the other applications tend to be very focused on just music creation or some other things. So there's a couple reasons why we stick with Pro Tools in our program. We have at every station in our lab, not just the software, we've got PreSonus 24C 2x2 audio interfaces at every single station. We have a MIDI keyboard, a 48 key M-Audio MIDI keyboard at every station. There is a microphone with a boom stand at every single desk, headphones, and of course a computer keyboard and mouse. You have a full-blown digital audio workstation, 32 of them in that classroom. So everybody gets to sit one-on-one with their own station. And they're exactly the same. So, if you move from seat to seat, it's a replica. So moving around that lab is very, very easy to do. We also have this station set up for recording and tracking. We do have a studio recording class that utilizes this. It does have an iMac. It's got Pro Tools on it, which is primarily what we use for the tracking and recording. We have a large Apogee Symphony IO MK2 16 and 16 out audio interface. Kind of strangely, we have this large Toft analog mixer. It's an ATB 24 channel analog mixing board. It's kind of a weird setup, but it allows us to teach the analog and the digital side of things. Our studio recording professor, I'll show you a picture of him in a minute. He's fantastic. And he comes from the analog side, and so he's very good at teaching you that, and it's still a really good skill to have today. And so it's sort of a weird thing taking it from there into the digital system, but we do it and we'll teach you how it works. And so you'll get a little bit of hands-on with an analog board into a digital system as well. We have some Yamaha HS8s with some subwoofers on that system. We do have a mixing room. So this system, you look into the glass of this larger room. So there's two views. It's kind of a big rectangle. So you can see here, this would be, as you walk in the doors looking to the right, the mixing station somewhere out here outside the glass. We do have, the recording and tracking station is outside of the glass. This we kind of call our mixing station. Any students that enter into our second semester class, they have access to this room. Most everybody uses this. This is an old picture, actually. I couldn't find a new picture and I can't get on campus because of COVID. So this is like in its infancy. We have 2 monitors now and some other things associated with this. But it's got a nice large 88 key Native Instruments keyboard. It's going to have 2 monitors. You've got a Avid control surface there, a really large Focusrite Scarlett 18 i20 interface, more I/O than you would ever need at that station, some HS5s and a subwoofer. So it's a really nice space. Our students love checking out time in here to be able to sit there and work on their projects without being listening in headphones. It's a nice perk to being a second semester student getting through that boot camp class. So students will do that, but they'll also use this room. Here's the other side of it. So this picture was taken from that station looking the other direction. We do have, it's large enough for sure for that grand piano, baby grand piano to be in there. This is no longer in here. We've got a headphone amp in here. There is a patch bay in here for our microphones to be able to plug into the wall, which feed out into the other room for when we're tracking. So there's a lot of room in here. We can move the piano out. We've had pretty large ensembles, medium-sized ensembles fit into this room. And so students will, I'll show you a picture later. There's students that'll bring in musicians just to this station. They'll work here and they'll record students behind them. And it's a nice, acoustically nice room to be in. And so a lot of work gets done one-on-one with students in this room. It's a nice little perk to making it through the first semester class. In terms of our whole building, we do have a beautiful concert hall. I believe it was designed by the Disney Hall people. It's state-of-the-art acoustic concert hall. It does have some stereo microphones hung, so all of our concerts are recorded automatically to a cloud-based system in stereo. But we also do have a Yamaha M7 CL48 console that is further up, about here in the audience. It's about in that location. We do have permission now. We have a live sound class with permission. It's going to be offered in the summers. And students that get through the first semester 8A class, Music 8A, will then be eligible to jump into the live sound class. And we have permission to utilize the concert hall in the summertime. We're also getting a nice outdoor PA system that we're going to be training all of our live sound students on. So there's a lot more coming in the live sound space. There is a control room up above the concert hall that can look down at it. It's a little bit in shambles now, but we're slowly working on building that up and doing some more special things with it as well. Besides the music facilities, it's just a great building. It's beautiful. It's a fairly new building, a couple years old. I think it's like 4 years old or so now. We have student lounge spaces. We have practice rooms, a beautiful piano lab in addition to the tech lab, gorgeous band and choir rooms, and just it's this modern, comfortable place to be. Again, we're off campus. We're kind of our own little community, and it's a really great environment to learn. Just so everybody's aware, heading into fall 2021, I'm doing this recording right now in spring of 2021, finishing up the spring. We have no classes in summer. We're preparing to go back in person. And of course, we've been gone for over a year, so there's a lot to be preparing. And so we don't have any summer classes this particular year. We will in the future again. But heading into fall 2021, my classroom, our music technology lab, is going to be outfitted as a state-of-the-art HyFlex classroom. That means I will be teaching in the classroom to a limited number of students while streaming online to the rest of the students. And this opens up a lot of opportunity and flexibility for us all across the board. We're very fortunate to have this as an opportunity. So all of my classes will be taught in HyFlex format. Students will be online or in the classroom, and I'll talk about that in a second. Our classes will be split up to ensure proper distancing and safety. We sit about a foot apart, shoulder to shoulder, normally when we have the lab packed with students. I don't feel quite comfortable with that enough yet. And so the HyFlex situation will allow us to lower the number of students that are in the class. So if you're in a Monday, Wednesday section, you'll be assigned to come on Monday or Wednesday. If you're in a Tuesday, Thursday section, you'll be assigned to come on Tuesday or Thursday. So we can split everything in half and give everybody some special distancing. If you have concerns and can't be or don't want to be in the classroom for this next year or so, we totally understand that. I do. I totally understand that, and I will respect that. And you're welcome to do at least the first 2 classes for sure, Music 8A and Music 8B right now for sure. You could do them fully online if you wanted to. We've been doing them for the last year and a half or year, I guess, and we have very successful students coming out of just being fully online. And so we'll continue to be able to offer that because I'll be able to stream from within the classroom. We can also help you gain technology. So I have a lot of students checking out laptops from the college. We have that as a resource. Most students I found it's very interesting. I found that they just kind of go out and get their DAW on their own. I do want everyone set up to be online ready just in case we end up having to go online. That is a possibility if there was some sort of COVID outbreak or something. But we do have laptops at the college that will run our software. We do have an abundance of audio interfaces that will be available for checkout, as well as MIDI keyboards and plenty of Pro Tools and Sibelius licensing available. We will give you an iLok that you'll check out and you'll be returning to us. And so that's very exciting to be able to do that. Not too many schools can do that for you. But we will have that available, and everyone's going to be expected to be online ready. Even if you're in my class, if you're a student that just says, Professor Amaya, I have to be in class every day. Is there a seat for me Monday and Wednesday? I will try my best to accommodate you for that, but you're still going to have to be online ready. I want everyone ready. It's a good skill, actually, to be able to get a computer ready and to have it at home. And we'll have an open lab for you to work in, but if you need to work at home, you'll be able to. And I think it's a really good thing, since we have that ability to do that, to have all my students, at least this next year for sure, doing that. So that's pretty exciting. Our As far as our music department goes, I have to throw this in there because it's a very unique situation that we have such exceptional full-time faculty and part-time faculty. Actually, these are our full-time faculty members. We all love each other and get along, which is very unique. The smiles you see on our faces, this is us getting together and just being happy together, and you'll feel that energy from this department as you're just being in the building. It's a very fun, dynamic place to be, and we strive for excellence in everything we do, but we have a good time and we all get along. And so from left to right, you can see Peter Curtis, our guitar professor. He's also going to probably be our songwriting professor when he's helped me work on those classes. He's an amazing songwriter, so you'll get to know him. Charles Richard runs the jazz and saxophone programs, and John Byan does choir and voice. James Rocio oversees the marching band, concert band, and jazz band. Yasmika Connect, she is so wonderful. She does piano, and you'll probably get to know her in music fundamentals and piano classes. That's me, sort of in the middle here, and then to the right of me is Stephen Schmidt. He does our theory and percussion, and our department chair Kevin Mays mostly focuses on wind ensemble and orchestra. Not pictured here is our newest faculty member. He's so new. We've been in COVID. He hasn't had a chance to even get in a photo with us yet, but Stephen Mopar, he does theory. He's a French horn player, and he's new to our faculty, so you'll probably get to know him as well. We also have an amazing academic support team higher up than our department. So at the division level, we just have an amazing team. Our dean, John Adkins, is such a wonderful human being. I just love working with him. You see a picture of me on this screen. I'm what's called a Fine and Performing Arts Center coordinator. It's a perk for you that I'm in that position because you get all the information that you need from me, and I have connections to all the people that can help you and support you, which is great. I'm always giving information. But this is our support team, starting with our dean. He's kind of at the top of our division, or he is at the top of our division. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful person. He has a couple of nicknames like Super Dean. To the right of him here is Rosalina. She's our ed advisor. She has the answers to everything. So when you guys get questions about your program or registering and all those sorts of things at the college level, if I can't help you, I send you to Rosalina, and Rosalina can help you with just everything. Our music counselor is Mike Barnes. That's him down here. And he is just a wonderful human being as well. He knows the music program very well. In terms of counseling, he'll set you up with a student educational plan, which is a very important thing, by the way. Within your first semester or two, you definitely need to make sure you get an educational plan. Have to have a meeting with Mike. It's very important. And he'll keep you on those goals toward graduation. And so that's occasionally we have some other counselors that step in to help him as well. But that's our main music counselor. And then again, I'm the center coordinator. I don't really work with students in that capacity, except with my students. I'm more of a faculty liaison, so I make sure that I distribute information down. I'm also in charge of our Fine and Performing Arts Engagement Center shell on Canvas. So when you guys get access to Canvas, we're going to make sure that we get you into that shell, which is a massive resource for you. I keep it really up to date with everything important that you want to know about the college and what's going on at the college, and registration dates and holidays. Everything's in there, and we'll show you a little bit about that as you onboard into RCC. We also have, yes, we have like the most awesome studio recording and live sound professor ever. His name is Sean Sheldrake. And that actually you'll see his email is richard.sheldrake. He goes by Sean, his middle name. And that's him and I in our music technology lab. You can just tell by the smile, I hope, that you're working with a really good human being. He's so fun. You have to earn getting to Sean. That's the way it works. You have to get through me to get to Sean. He's that good. But once you get to his classes, you're going to have a very good time learning a lot. It's just really fun and dynamic, and you're going to leave just knowing a lot and being really confident through this program. Speaking of programs, so this is something I threw in here in case you're kind of new to the educational side of things and aren't quite sure how all of this works. This is the degree pyramid. You start down here with the high school diploma or GED, which I'm assuming if you're watching this, most of you are getting through that now or have gotten through that and you're ready for college. So next up on the pyramid is the California Community Colleges, which is where RCC sits. We have two things we can offer you. We can offer you career and technical certificates or just certificates as well as associate's degrees. We cannot do bachelor's degrees at a community college. There's a couple that were under pilot. They're very few and far between. It's very rare. We do associate's degrees, and we help you get into, if you want to, we help you transfer into bachelor's degrees. And so you'll see me go through a little bit of info about our certificate as well as an AA degree for transfer. Beyond that, you would head to a UC, a CSU, a university, some sort of private university of some sort where you can get a bachelor's degree, potentially a master's. Some of them will offer doctoral degrees. On the music side, it's a PhD or a DMA, a Doctor of Musical Arts would be the doctoral degree for music, which again is very rare, if not even, I don't even know that it exists yet in music industry and technology. I'm sure it will soon. Right now, it's sort of a dead-end degree at the master's level, and then you have to have a lot of work experience to get somewhere with it. So that's how these things work. So I'm going to talk about our music technology certificate, and then I'll head into the AA program that we will put you on if you're interested in that. So our music technology certificate is certificate CE 928. It's called Music Technology. It says here it prepares you for careers in music recording, composition, production, and that. There's a lot more to it, by the way. If you're going to head into production and composition and even recording, there's still going to be a lot more to be learned. This is why I like the certificate in that it gets you in and out very quickly and gives you it's very dense. It gives you a lot of skill, but you're going to be competing against people with really good music degrees with a lot more years under their belt with the technology. So you're not really done yet. If you're going to get a certificate and want to go compete in the world, you're going to have a lot of work to do and a lot of time to spend getting there. But it's a really good certificate for the purpose of getting a lot of skills under your belt, and leaving and potentially being successful. So it starts out here with Music 3, Fundamentals of Music. We like all, for sure, if you're going to do anything in music, you need to have a fundamental knowledge. I would say even beyond that of music. You need to know what quarter notes are, how to form triads, things like that. Music 3 will do that for you. Concurrently with that, you can see down at the bottom, you can take one of the piano classes. Most of my students come in with not much music background, so the advice is when you take Music 3, the fundamentals class, also take Music 32A, class piano 1. They go hand in hand with their curriculum. So it's good to take them together. And this will get you sort of working around those MIDI keyboards a little bit better and sort of understanding when you're putting notes in the sequencer, how they go together, how to time things properly and stuff like that. It's really important to have music background. For the certificate, that's all we require in terms of a music fundamentals background. So Music 3, Music 32A, if you do have piano experience already, you could take one of the upper level piano classes. You'll get placed into these. If you have theory knowledge, you may actually be able to pass out of Music 3 as well. We'll give you equivalency for that. And you talk to Yasminka Connect for that, and I can direct you to her. In terms of the technology, this is a small certificate. It's only 17 units. It's a little complicating the way this spaced out, so I'll explain it. You would always start our technology program with Music 8A. That goes for everyone, whether you're doing the certificate or the AA It's the same. It has no prerequisites. Anybody can join Music 8A, Music Technology 1. We do Pro Tools 101 certification in our Music 8A class. We teach you all about digital audio fundamentals, the Pro Tools interface. We get you recording, we get you editing audio, then we get you recording MIDI to a click and starting out with that. Then we get you importing audio, recording audio, and doing a project surrounding a lot of different things. And then at the end of the semester, you get to do a project of your choice that combines all of that information. You're pretty well off by the end of the semester. We touch upon mixing like at the very basic level. We just don't have time to go much further, but we do start you into the mixing environment with very specific fundamentals there. After Music 8A, if you pass that, you can move on into Music 8B. So 8A is a prerequisite for Music 8B. Music Technology 2, we teach the Pro Tools 110 curriculum. This is the class that we can certify you in at the user level of Pro Tools. It's a really fun class. It's one of my favorites to teach. I think it's one of our students' favorites to be in. It's right after 8A. You have a lot of energy, you know a lot, and now you get to have some fun. It's a lot of review plus new. So we dig deeper into the software and all of its capabilities. We start heading more into the recording side of things and giving you the software features that are going to be most important in a recording and tracking environment. We introduce you to our mixing station inside of our recording space where you're able to check out time. We have you working on one project with a live musician that is not yourself. So we start collaborations. You do a pairs project, which is super fun. I give you some crazy prompt that you have to follow. It's so fun. Students just love 8B, and I love 8B too. So it's a really fun class to take. 8B is also the gatekeeper for everything else. So it's a prerequisite for Music 9, Music 10, Music 11, and Music P11. So once you get that first year down, those first 2 semesters or first 2 classes, then it opens up the door for all of these other classes for you. You have some choices, though. The way this works is it's Music 9. If you're just doing the certificate, it's Music 9 or Music 11 or Music P11. So it's not 9 units. It's only 3. So you would draw a line after Music 10. I'll explain that one in a second, which is required. When it comes to these 3 classes here, you would take Music 9 or 11 or P11. A lot of students stay and they take all of them. That would be up to you. But these are very specialized, and so we give you a choice, and it keeps our unit count low for the certificate. So Music 9 is film scoring. So if you're on the music side, or if you just really want to know how to sequence to film, we teach it very well at RCC. We're very proud of what we do with that. Music 11 is sound recording. So you'd be working with that TOF mixing board and recording, tracking and recording things through our recording space into that TOF analog board, into the Pro Tools system there, learning all about analog audio as well. So Sean teaches a lot of the analog. I teach a lot of the digital. And so you get that nice, well-rounded education and all of that. Acoustics and things like that would be taught in the sound recordings techniques class. And then live sound is a totally different animal. It's a very different sort of thing. So that's another option for you. You could, again, take either or of these. You just need one for the certificate. So if you're like, I really want to go into live sound, great. You can get through Music 3, 8A, 8B, a piano class, jump into the live sound class, and you'll be done with the certificate and potentially often working in live sound. We have interns already right now. Students, as I'm speaking, are working in Temecula and the Inland Empire with Sean, doing intern work in live sound. It's a really kind of vibrant area of employment for musicians in the Inland Empire, and it's coming back now, which is good. Anyhow, so you have a choice there. I want to make sure that's clear. Also, you do have to complete Music 10. Everybody does that. That one is required. I know this is spaced out really funny, right? But Music 10 would be another requirement. So 4, 3, 3, and then 3. This does look really funny. So this would be another 3-unit class that you would definitely need to take. That's a lot of students will take it after 8B, or they'll take one of these other classes and then take Music 10, so they have something to mix. So that's all about mixing. It says music production, but it's all about mixing. That's our mixing class, mixing and mastering. And so it's 17 units. Let's see. So 4, 7, 10, 13, and then you choose from one of these, which would be get you to 16, and you need a 1-unit piano class, which gets you to 17. So the way these numbers are outlined is spaced a little funky. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's our certificate. It can be done, it can be done if you really work hard. It can be done in 2 years. You would start with Music 3 and 32A and 8A in the fall. I would tell everyone to do that anyway. That's a good place to start. And then if you're going to do more than the certificate, then you could add in GE and some other things. But every one of my students should be in Music 3, Music 32A, and 8A at the start of fall. You don't have to be, but it's a good way to start. And then that way you can progress through the next couple semesters. So if you did that, you can definitely get this certificate done in 2 years, maybe potentially less than that. Not really. We offer 8A and 8B every term. Music 10, I'm hoping to offer every spring. Music 9, I'm hoping from this fall forward, we'll be offering it every fall. 11, I'm hoping to offer also every spring. P11 every summer. And so that's what we're hoping for as we come out of the recovery from COVID. We're hoping we'll be able to just be consistent with those offerings. All right, let's move on from the certificate. So if you want to receive an AA or if you want to get an AA and transfer, then this would be your best bet coming into fall 2021. You want to look in the RCC catalog at AA 496B. We put you on a general ed plan that is related to the CSU system for transfer because it's mostly the CSU system that offers the bachelor's degrees in this area. So that's what the B is for. It's for the CSU GE pattern. So it's going to be every AA is pretty much the same. It's a lot of general education. You'll feel like high school again, right? It's going to be a lot of just general education classes. And then you'll have a certain number of units to take in your specialization. In this particular degree, it's a minimum of 18 units of study across a maximum of 3 disciplines. So we focus you in on specific disciplines, and a minimum of 9 units from a single discipline, which for you, if you're in this area, would be music. I do have a plan for you. So if you don't have this from me and you are entering in fall of 21, please reach out to me and I will send this to you. It's probably pretty small on your screen. I'm not sure. But we have a very specific plan for the music technology students to follow to ensure a few things. First, that you're not taking anything you don't need to be taking. It's very important. Your unit count is going to be a little higher than some students when you're transferring. You need 60 units in order to transfer. We're going to suggest to transfer you at 72 units. So you're going to take a couple extra classes, and I'll explain why. But you will be able to do what I call some double dipping in those units, where you'll take a specific GE class in one of the GE areas, which will also count toward your AA. Potentially, we have a lot of students transferring to Cal Poly Pomona. They have a great degree program there. And potentially you might triple dip, where you take a GE that counts toward your AA and your GE, as well as toward some sort of music requirement at Cal Poly. So what we're trying to do is get you taking the least amount of classes possible, which equates to the least amount of units and the least amount of time you spend with us. It's a lot. Being a music major is a lot, but everybody has to do at least 60 units. And we've got you at 72. And I think when you sort of dig through this, you'll realize those extra 12 are kind of the fun ones, the ones where we're developing you, like in 8B, Music 9, Music 10, we're developing you in your area of specialization. We're also throwing in music theory because you cannot transfer as a music student without at least a year of music theory beyond music fundamentals. And we have to add that in addition to this AA because it doesn't fit into the AA. And so that's some of why your unit count's higher. None of what you're doing will be a waste of your time. I want you to understand that if you take this plan. Everything you do is important and worth your time. Right? Beyond the GE, there's a reason I've got you taking all of these classes. There's a really good reason. So if you're able to see this, and once you get this, you'll be able to go through this. This on the left-hand side is all general ed. They have specific areas here, area A in different sections like A1, A2, A3. All the way down here, there's a brand new area F that's coming in the fall of 2021. This is the most up-to-date information I can give you. We used to have 3 area D classes. We now have only 2 and an area F. And we've gone through extensively, the counselors and I, with this plan to do our absolute best to give you, again, the least amount of classes possible to get this done without taking anything that won't count. please follow our plan. It's so important. And so you'll see things like we suggest what GE you should take. Sometimes we tell you, you choose. There is a GE checklist that will list area B1 and a whole bunch of classes you can choose from. It lists all the areas, but in some of these, we're having you take specific classes for a reason. Like area A1, we're saying, hey, we want you to take COM 1, right? It will count toward GE in area A1, but it also will count toward those 18 units of that AA that we have you on. It'll double count. And so we want you to take a specific class here to double count it there. If you chose a different class in area A, it might not count. I don't think it will count toward 496B. And so then you'll end up having to take another class to accommodate AA 496B's 18 units. So we're double dipping, okay? We're trying to get you the least amount of classes and get through this. So we recommend English 1A in area A2. Everybody has to take English 1A. We're recommending English 1B for area A3, highly recommended by the counselors. It's also good for UC transfer. So if you decide to go on to a UC instead of a CSU, you're going to be okay having had English 1B. Area B1 and B2 and B3, these are the sciences. We tell you to choose whatever you like. There's a couple notes in here. And if you have any confusion with that, let me know. Area B4, everyone has to take a math class. We recommend Math 25, which is liberal arts math for our music majors. There's other math you could take, and it says that here. It's up to you, but that's the one we recommend. Area C1, I have you taking very specific class. You have 2 to choose from, which are going to come over here and count toward your AA as well. They also articulate into other degree programs that you might transfer into in music. Area C2 is going to be your history class. Make sure you take history 6 or 7 for area C2 because there is a U.S. history requirement for your general ed beyond area F. They don't tell you till later, right down at the bottom in the fine print. By the way, you also need a U.S. history class. We're going to bust that out here in area C2 with history 6 or 7. Take it there. It will count here as well as toward your U.S. history requirement. Area D, very specific. I have you taking ECO 4. It counts toward area D. It also counts if you articulate or if you transfer to Cal Poly Pomona's Music Industry Studies program as part of their music industry studies requirements. They require an economics class, and our ECO 4 class counts toward their economics class there. I think it's an accounting class there. And it articulates over directly. So we have you take it in GE here to count for GE. But then if you do transfer there, which a lot of students do, you'll be able to check that class off the list on your music industry studies program. For area D, the second area, I have an FTV class, film and television class listed here. I look through all of the other choices in area D. You could choose something else if you want, except this one, actually, you'd have to be careful. This one double counts as your AA, so we're getting enough of those different disciplines within your AA. I think it's a good class. I looked it up, and it looks like a good class for you to get into at least a little film and television side of things while you're learning the audio side. It's good to know. So that'll be a GE class, but also double counting toward those units required for your AA. Area E, I have a big note here. Wait, if you're incoming in fall of 21, wait until the next year, 22, 23, you'll still be there, right? If you're doing an AA, wait to take an Area E class. We have a Music 98 Careers in Music class that is offered at Cal Poly and elsewhere. It counts toward Area E elsewhere. We haven't gotten it approved through GE at RCC yet. I'm hoping to do that at the start of next academic year in 2021. Actually, be the end of the year. It'd be spring of 22 that we're hoping that it gets approved. It should be. And then once it gets approved the following year, which would be the 2022-23 school year, you'll be able to take that class and it'll count toward Area E. But then when you go, if you transfer to Cal Poly, it will also double count as one of your music requirements for the music industry studies degree there and elsewhere as well. A lot of schools are starting to require that of their music industry students. So wait on that one. And if you're in a hurry, you can always take Guidance 47. That's what we recommend for Area E. But if you can wait for Careers in Music to come back around. It's a great class, really great class, highly recommended. Every student that takes it would recommend it to you. So hang tight and just wait for that to come back around. Area F is the new area. You're going to take a Poli-Sci 21 class in there for basically 2 reasons. Number one, it counts toward this Area F. And the second reason is it counts toward your government requirement, which is another one of those little notes at the bottom. Hey, by the way, once you complete all this, you also need a government requirement. Poli-Sci 21 will cover both of those things for you. So that leads you to 42 units of general ed, which is standard. It's standard to do this much general ed. Everybody has to do it. Hang in there, get it done. Once you're done, nobody can ever take that away from you. And when you move on into your upper division stuff, and if you decide to transfer into a bachelor's degree, it's very little additional GE you'll ever have to do. And if you go into a master's degree, you will never have to do it again. It's great. So get it out of the way. Right? That's the best thing you can do. Nobody can ever take that away from you. Make sure you're earning C's or better. For anyone, really. I mean, if you want to transfer or not, it's good because you never know. You might want to come back someday and do a transfer, and you're going to have to retake some classes if you don't get those C's or better. So make sure you're doing well with your coursework. As far as the AA requirements, remember those are 18 units across a maximum of 3 disciplines and then 9 units in a specific discipline. So we're going to bust out a few of these. Com 1, Music 25 or 26, Music 89. I skipped that one, didn't I? C1. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is Area C has actually 3. There's a C1 or 2 you could take. We have you taking this Music 89, which is History of Multicultural America. It's counting toward a lot of things. It's going to count toward GE Area C, toward your AA requirements, as well as it will articulate into like a history of popular music class in any program you may transfer into. Very good class to take. And there's that FTV 41. So all of these are in parentheses because you will have taken them in GE, and they will also count toward those 18 units of your AA. And then we're going to throw in the rest of the music requirements that you're going to need to take. To transfer as a music student, you will need 1 year of piano. So in addition to that first semester 32A class piano I talked about with a certificate, you'll need to take a second semester of piano. So most of my students will start in 32A, they'll move to 32B, and those count toward your AA. I also recommend, most of my students don't have any background on any instrument or voice, so I recommend a voice class or a class guitar class. It's a 1-unit class for the semester. You'll learn how to play the guitar or sing. And that's a good precursor to heading into a bachelor's degree where they're going to ask you, hey, what's your major instrument? And we need to put you in lessons. So you need to come to them with a little bit of skill, ready to decide, I'm going to be a guitarist, or I'm going to be a vocalist, or maybe you already play something else. And then private lessons at RCC would also count in this category. If you came to us with some skill set already, we could potentially put you into a private lesson, a 1-unit private lesson that would count. So this is up in the air, but most of my students don't have much background, so they'll take a class voice or guitar, or they'll take it anyway, because if you're going to be in the industry side of things, knowing the voice and knowing the guitar, super important. Most all of your music that you're going to be working on probably has a guitar and vocal in it, so it's good to know. So those are 3 independent units that count toward this AA. And then there's Music 8A, our first technology class. It also counts toward this AA. If you add up all of these units so far, you'll get to the 18. However, we can take 12 units away for double counting. So you're adding 6 to your 42 right now. Okay. And again, you're completing all of this in different orders, and we can talk some more about that in meetings with me. It's not like you take A through F in order. You jump around a lot. You watch out for prerequisites. We try to get you into Music 8A, Music 3, Music 32A as soon as possible, so you can then progress through the music program as well. You have to watch those prerequisites and get into those early classes as early as you can. But anyhow, here we are now with the AA requirement complete. Right now, technically, with just those classes, you could leave with an AA. But most students, and I highly recommend this, will also complete the tech certificate at the same time. So Music 3 Fundamentals is part of the certificate. 32A is up here, part of the AA now, 8A, part of the AA. And then what you would tack on then would be, in addition to fundamentals, you would tack on the upper level music technology classes, 8B, 9, 11, or P11, and Music 10. So this is that certificate, how it breaks down again. Highly recommend this because then you leave with a portfolio of works, a really amazing skill set, and you'll be very, very competitive when and if you do transfer, if you just want to get out in the world. So the certificate is 17 units. However, 4 of them are counting up here already for this whole AA pathway. So it's an additional 13. So we have 42 plus 6 plus 13. I have to add more. I'm sorry to do that. But if you want to be a music major, if you want to transfer into a music degree with an AA, you have to take a year of music theory. And so beyond music fundamentals, which doesn't really count, by the way, doesn't count as theory. It's like a prerequisite for theory. You have to have at least a year of theory. some schools, like our traditional music students, they have 2 years of theory. You guys have to have at least 1 year. So you're going to have to get through this Music 4 and Music 5. So you're going to want to get into fundamentals as soon as you can so you can move through Music 4 and then through Music 5. And then I also am saying you probably should have a basic intro to technology class. Music 101 is where we teach Sibelius music notation as well as some other music technologies. It's kind of a fun class. That is a fun class, actually. It's not a really hard class. It's very fun. We do dig into Sibelius pretty deep, but we'll certify you at the user level in Sibelius. You'll have some notation skills. I highly recommend, I think it's a prerequisite now, that you take at least fundamentals before you take 101 because you need to know music notation before you start doing music notation. So that's important. But most schools are now requiring, at least for all music majors, at least one technology class. And that's it, that intro to tech. It's an overview of all technologies, including music notation. So that's where that class resides in our program and at our campus. So we recommend you do all of this, which adds up to, it's 42 GE, an additional 6 to finish off that AA. And again, you could just do that and be done with an AA. You won't be able to transfer as a music student, but you could have an AA. And then an additional 13 units to really establish yourself and be competitive as a music technology student. And then an additional 11 units to be able to transfer as a music student. Recommend getting all this done here. Some of this you could leave out and do after you transfer, but you're going to have a lot to do when you transfer, and it's going to be more expensive and all of that. So we teach all of this very well, and we love having you around for a little while. I will kick you out pretty quickly after about 3 years. I think 3 years is good enough. We don't like the lifers. If you're going to spend 4 or 5 years working on your education, you should have a bachelor's degree. Let's say 5 years, right? You should have a bachelor's. You shouldn't still be at a community college working on an AA unless you're part-time. But if you're full-time and you want to get through this and get out in the world, I'm going to be kicking you out like a parent. You need to move on. So it's my goal to get you really well trained and through this as best I can, and to be a force to be reckoned with when and if you decide to go into the industry or transfer. And that's what it takes, really. It takes at least this to be successful. The certificates are great, but if you do this plan, you're going to be much further along, much more competitive. You'll have an AA no one can ever take away from you. You'll be transferable now or in the future. There's so many really great things that can come out of completing this plan with us. All right, and it's complicating, and I get it, and hopefully that was enough of an overview, but if you need more help with that, definitely see me. Mike Barnes, your counselor, your music counselor, can also walk you through that. So what I mean by transfer, where can you go? So if you do this plan and you get through all this, I would say there's a little note at the bottom, by the way, with all of this plan, if you want to transfer into a music degree, there's only about 3 classes you don't have to take. That would be the more fun, advanced Music 8B, 9, 10, or 11, or 9, 11, or P11, and 10. These 9 units here. All right, those would be the only classes that you would not necessarily need in order to transfer. I say take them, learn. We teach it really well, and then when you transfer, you're going to be amazing. And it's just 3 more classes. You're already here. May as well do it, right? I think you're going to want to do it. You don't have to. But I think you're going to want to. You do have to do the theory in order to transfer as a music student. So what does transferring mean, right? There are bachelor's degrees in this area of study. People don't realize this. They're out there. And so I've found some of the best ones in the area for the most part for you. Most of our students right now are transferring into Cal Poly Pomona's Music Industry Studies program. I do have their degree sheet. It's very exciting if you look at it. And I am articulating my program with theirs most closely. So pretty much if you do my program, when you get there, you're going to be checking off everything in the lower division you can possibly check off, with the exception of, I think, 2 different classes that we don't offer. You're going to have not a whole lot left to do in the lower division when you get there. So you'll have a really good time when you get there doing a lot of fun stuff in the upper division. CSU Chico is quite impressive, I must say. I have a video of them. I'm not sure if it's on our YouTube channel yet, but we did a session with them and got to see their facilities. It is just remarkable what's happening at Chico. They have a program in music industry or recording arts, so it's a bachelor's with one or the other emphases, and their studios are state of the art. They are impacted, which means they can only take a certain number of students every year, which also means they have to take from their service area and the Chico area first. So let's say they can take 30 students, let's say 40 apply from the service area, they're going to have to take 30 from the service area. If only 20 apply in the service area and come into their program, they'll have 10 spaces available. That's when things get competitive. Okay. So if a program's impacted, they can only take a certain number of students. It gets competitive. And that's when doing everything on that AA, including those upper level AB 9 and 10 classes, really having that competitiveness in you and those skills in you and a good portfolio to show up with makes you stand out above everyone and makes you competitive. So if you wanted one of those 10 seats, chances are pretty good coming from RCC that you're going to be able to get them. And that's my goal, right? So do as we say and you'll get where you want. So if CSU Chico, you look at it and you go, oh, I love it there. I want to do that. I want to transfer there. It's going to be competitive. You're going to need to work really hard. And hopefully there'll be seats available and you'll be one of those students that gets it. Cal Baptist is in our neighborhood. They just started a Bachelor of Music degree in studio production. It's quite impressive over there as well. It's a private institution, a little more pricey. They do offer a lot of scholarships. They're working directly with us. They really want our students over there. It'd be a great next level step for you if you really want just a hardcore bachelor's degree experience. They're it. I mean, it's USC level. I would say probably better because it's more boutique and you get to stay in Riverside. It's that kind of industry level experience over at Cal Baptist. What they're doing over there is just incredible. So that's a really great option for you to look at. On the CSU end, Stanislaus has a bachelor's in music technology. Northridge has an industry studies degree, but it's very business heavy. So if you want to head into the business side, you might want to look at that program and be ready to potentially transfer there. Monterey Bay has a music industry and technology emphasis. There's also all of those private institutions. Some students look into like Full Sail and things like that. They're very expensive. I don't know. It's up to you where you want to go after RCC. There are also out-of-state options as well. So there's a lot of options for you locally. We work mostly with the locals because most of my students tend to just stay local. And Cal Poly Pomona, again, is a really great option for you, as well as Chico and Cal Baptist. Excuse me. We do have a lot of students that are, we right before COVID, we had a lot going on. Our classes were huge. Our program was exploding. We had this gentleman here who won a scholarship to, I think it was the 2019 NAMM show. I think he got like $2,000 or something. So his whole NAMM vacation was paid for. He got to attend the NAMM show. He got to hang out with other young professionals who also won those awards from across the world, I think. He had a great experience, and I was so proud, and I'm hoping we have more of these. There are also composition contests that our students will enter. If you want to study serious composition, most of our students will study and take private lessons with Stephen Schmidt while they're there, and a little bit of the technology with me, and then combine that knowledge and go out and do some more traditional composition work. There's also electronic composition contests and things that our students are starting to enter. So we're going to have more of that coming as we rebuild after COVID. It's really going to be exciting. We did this really great event recently too. So we started partnering with other fine and performing arts faculty, and we have an amazing collaboration going with the dance department. So in the fall of 20, we did we had our final student mixes from our Music 10 class were put on a Dropbox, and dance students got to pick from those as to what they were going to choreograph to. So they chose our student works to choreograph to. We took it to the extreme level the next semester, this semester in spring 21. We had a drive-in event. It started with just a simple thing, and it exploded into a very huge, quite extensive event. Our students sequenced, they worked with the dance choreographers to sort of help define what these projects would be. There were about 7 projects that were from like 7 to 15 minutes long. It was an amazing experience. We had They had videos made, the dance department did, where there was dancing going on. There's actually 2 videos it ended up being per project. We had three projection screens in our parking garage. It was a drive-in event. Our students scored to the dance and/or picture. We had live dance in front of the 3 screens and our students' mixes. So we mix and mastered for FM transmission. We maxed those things out. It was super fun and an amazing experience. I'm going to play one for you. Now, this is just the one video, the one main video with the music. So there's no live dance. You're not seeing the 3 screens. We don't have that out yet. But what the students pretty much were scoring to when they did these projects was the main video. So I'm going to play one for you now. It's on our YouTube channel. Let me go ahead and transition to finding that here for you. Here it is here. It's a few minutes long. It's about 5.5 minutes long. So sit back and enjoy. Here you go.
Wipe the mirror for the first time. I'm so tired.
So this student wrote this music, performed this music, recorded this music, mixed the music. She's a second-year student in our program.
It's getting old.
that's just one example of something you all can potentially do after about a year and a half or two with us at RCC. It's very, very exciting. So let's see. Let's move on here. Just a few more things. Some of the things our graduates do. I do have one student right now running their own business. I have several probably, but I know one in particular is running a music studio of his own, recording studio, and just brought in actually the student that you just heard, her music, Haley. She came in as Lawrence's intern. So we're starting to get a little bit of a network going, which is really nice. So whoops, I got something playing. Hang on. This is the next film. It's actually good. You can see all this on our YouTube channel. So Haley, who did that first piece, is working with Lawrence, one of our former graduates, as an intern at his studio in the Riverside area. Lawrence is doing real well. Post-production sound, I know Vanessa, and I still cannot remember her last name for some reason. It's escaping me, but years ago, I taught someone who was in our film department, taught him audio at RCC. She went through all my audio classes, and she came up to me like 2 or 3 years ago at an event at the Coyle School for the Arts, and she was in the audience, and she came up to me and said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I made it. I'm doing it, Professor Maya." I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "She's in Hollywood working on big, huge pictures, doing sound for film," which is just a huge success. So everything she learned at RCC took her there. She left RCC and went straight to work. In the live sound field, we have a really good example of a graduate from there, Melissa Field. I think she was also a film and television student. We didn't have a live sound program at the time. They used to teach one class in film and TV, but she came and did a lot of these music and audio classes with me, and also did that live sound class, but left RCC with that audio and sound background, went to Live Nation and a whole bunch of other places. She has an amazing story. Ended up now as one of the lead audio technicians at the Disneyland Resort. And again, we have lots of students right now doing live sound in the Inland Empire. A lot of students transferring, at least a handful right now that I'm aware of in spring, but they're all not getting back to me, so I'm not sure what our total number is, but it's growing. When I arrived a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I arrived full-time at RCC. We had nobody transferring, so we've got a good culture going now of students on a really good AA path toward transfer, or just toward success. It's working out. So we're getting started, and it's a good time to be a part of this. So that's pretty much it. Join us, right? There's some pictures of some students working. They work with instruments and headphones in our lab. You can work in that second semester. Once you reach the second semester, you get access to this room and can bring in musicians and record them here. This is our recording class, one of the days in there, setting up drums and other things. Let's see what else we have here. Certification, we do it all the time. We had a pretty big program going before COVID hit. We're going to build it back up there, but we had a lot of certification. We're a huge family. We get along. We have a really fun dynamic. It's a fun place to learn. You can see, hopefully, by all the smiles and the personalities involved, we have a really good time. And that's it. So this is RCC Music Technology. Again, my name is Professor Amaya. They call me Amaya. There's my email address, jennifer.amaya@rcc.edu. We also have our YouTube channel called RCC Music Technology, where you can see a lot of our students' works, including some more of those films. I haven't put them all up, but I'll put some more up, and I'm going slow, but I'll get them up there. You'll start seeing some more of our more recent works up there on the YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I really hope to see some of you coming into our program next fall. Looking forward to it. Have a good night.